It's only fitting that we start the Dynamite recap show with a technical error.
I still have the graphic.
So do I. Hey, everybody.
No, you know what? Let me explain some behind the scenes stuff too. Because when Paul does this, he always goes 3, 2, and then says something weird or something to just throw me off, and then does the graphic. And I'm just sitting here going,
no. I was trying to be a professional and just started off just right. But no, I forgot what button to push. But we're here now. Hi. I'm not Paul. Paul's at the Pink concert.
Paul either. Yes.
Yeah. This is Kevin here with Jeff Hawkins. Good to see you.
Hi.
I always love the opportunity to fill in. Hope you're doing well.
Me or the audience?
But everybody. I hope everyone's doing well. How are you?
I'm fine. I'm good.
All right. I'm in a weird mood, so hopefully that'll be good.
Awesome.
Let's talk about AEW. What did you think of WrestleDream?
I really enjoyed it for the most part. I was not in on the. I mean, here's the weird thing, because mostly your opinion of the show depends on what you thought of how Bryan Danielson went out. I think there's a lot of people, and there are a lot of people that were very upset by it. And I don't mind pathos in my wrestling. I don't mind the unhappy ending.
Mm-hmm.
But I do agree with a lot of the criticism. You know, it's one of those weird things where I'm just like, you know what? The whole point of Bryan Danielson doing this run in AEW was the love letter to the work rate. You know, we hate WWE type of people.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you could have still at least give them that moment to say goodbye, because the assumption here is, oh, he'll be back. And
they even said that tonight. Nigel even said that tonight.
That's not guaranteed.
Yeah.
Given the surgery he's going to have, possibly.
Right.
That is a bold statement. And it was so weird because there was no chance to do that in the match either. It was just a smothering by Moxley.
Yeah.
And I think, you know what? You could have had the moment, and then you could have had the beatdown or something. And I think the original plan was a lot better too. I think handing the reins over to Darby with the handshake, and then you could have Moxley come out and just take out Danielson. For the goodbye, and then he could have the revenge. I think that would have been a smarter plan for this audience, because at least then, you know, you give the audience a moment to enjoy it, and then you take it away from them for the heat. In this, they didn't even give them the moment. They just took everything away from them for the heat.
Right.
That said, I mean, look, I thought it was a very good card. My personal favorite match was Mark Briscoe versus Chris Jericho. And if you had told me I'd call a Chris Jericho match my favorite match on a card, you'd be insane. But that kind of went into more of my old school.
Yeah.
You know, it's a match with a feud. It's a match.
Wrestling, how wrestling's done.
It's just old school 1988 wrestling to me. And I enjoyed every moment of it. I liked Ricochet and Ospreay and Takeshita. Didn't love it, but I liked it a lot. I mean, I understand why people were going gangbusters for it.
Took everyone to Reseda.
Yeah, and you know what? The only other thing that I thought they should have paid off Private Party. I do.
Me too.
I'm one of those people where it's like you're doing a redemption story, and you've gone so hard into it on the pre-match part of it, you have to pay it off.
Yeah.
And this isn't 1984 where you have them lose the big match and then you eventually come around to it. Whatever. You've built up these guys are geeks. They've already gotten beat up by Jon Moxley saying they're losers. Now they're getting buried on the mic by the Young Bucks that they're losers. Let's make them winners. Nope. Still losers. Yeah, but they can do it later. okay, see you in 3 years or so when we come back to this story.
Right. And it didn't help them because even though they played the thing with like, oh, standing ovation and private party,
that's BS.
They're not. This is not the Acclaim 2 years ago where
No.
people just want to see it. They confirmed what they said at the beginning of the match, and in my opinion, if they were going to do what they did, which was like just build up a team for a one night thing where they lose, and then move on, even though it looks like Private Party is going to come back, they should have just done the Outrunners this weekend. That would have been huge in the building.
Because I mean, and even this week, it's kind of amazing to me being this early on the Outrunners and not getting the credit from anybody about it. But you kill them.
Yeah. You go ahead.
No, I was saying, the Outrunners would have been perfect in that spot. I thought the pre-show was pretty good.
It's a very pre-show.
Yeah, Harley and Anna wasn't that bad of a match. I really kind of enjoyed it, to be honest with you. It wasn't the murder death by Anna Jay I kind of wanted, but it was still good. And everything else kind of hit the notes to me.
Yeah.
What was your favorite match?
I think that's a really good question. I the PWG match.
Okay. There's nothing. You know what?
No,
I'm not gonna fault that. It was a really good match. It's just not my work rate style.
I'm not right. I'm not one of the people out there saying it's the best triple threat ever or any of that kind of stuff. Like, but they're just doing. It was a really good example of what they do really well, and I liked. Here's my thing. I'm super high on Kyle Fletcher, and like I'm kind of putting all my chips in on Kyle Fletcher right now. So like anything that gets him up into the mix, and we'll talk about him when we get to it.
How do you feel about the ending of the match where Nigel literally goes, "That's Kyle Fletcher"?
Yeah. Nigel doesn't play dumb. That's what I kind of like.
I know who that is under that hood.
Yeah.
You don't need to remove the hood.
I'd know that shaggy blonde hair under that hoodie anywhere. So even though I didn't like
Cora Jade in NXT too, when she did that, no, that's Cora Jade. We know who that is.
We know who that is. Yeah, I think it was good. I liked the show. A lot of people are kind of angry at AEW for the ending. Kind of like you're burning your market, whatever, and that's a risk.
I think that's legitimate.
I think it's a legitimate risk. They took a big risk. I blame Bryan Danielson. I think this played out exactly how he wanted to.
Yes.
And exactly what you said was.
I think he's laughing his ass off that he gave him
a happy ending. This is Bryan Danielson's version of the Irish goodbye.
This is how he trolls. This is how he trolls.
I think if Bryan Danielson had his way, he just would have lost and left the ring and gone out and not said anything.
He would have done the Sheamus Daniel Bryan match from Mania. Yeah. 10 seconds.
This Mox runs through him and then, So God bless him. He's my favorite of all time, but I don't want to give him the book because that's the kind of stuff.
That's interesting too. He's a lot of people's favorite wrestlers. And I don't know if you listened to Brian and Vinny's show from when they were live, but Craig was saying, there's a guy who was dressed up in all this Bryan Danielson merch and stuff like that. And he was crying and saying, they bitched out my favorite wrestler like that. Kind of a thing.
He did it to himself, buddy.
See, I am not emotionally connected to Bryan Danielson. I like Bryan Danielson, but I've never been in love with Bryan Danielson. I do respect him. I enjoy his matches, but it's never that, I can't believe we're going to live in a world without Bryan Danielson. I think I got over that when he did his first retirement. I think that got to me a little bit more. So, I knew about the separation and stuff.
That kind of, that might explain what I feel, because I really don't, it really hasn't hit me. Like, have I seen my last Bryan Danielson match, or have, partially because I think in a year, he'll probably be back in some way, but
and I
don't want him back necessarily. I'm like, I'll go off, take care of your kid and get him back in school, and just go be a dad and show up every once in a while and do something. That's great. But I didn't get the feeling of, and I think you're right. It's because I already went through it and I've said goodbye. And so it's I'm kind of ready for him to be healthy because it's been hard to watch. And he's a really great worker, but you could tell he can't quite do like I would rather him get out now and be healthy than keep trying to come back and watch Bryan Danielson decline.
Yeah.
I agree. I think a better move would have been just to do the original play, do Darby that night. Darby beats him. He retires. Mox comes in, does the exact same scene, takes, just buries Bryan Danielson on the ground before he can do a retirement speech, and then takes out Darby. Maybe then you get a Full Gear. Mox just beats him for the title right away, and then you rebuild. And then Darby has to rebuild back. Just do the Clubber Lang because he loves Rocky 3 so much.
That and it gives a good segue to, man, the Danielson retirement meant nothing on this show for the first part of it.
Yeah. Yeah, let's go ahead and get to the show then. We have a special guest. Jeremy Feinstein was in the building.
Oh.
And he's just arrived home, and we're going to get a little live report in terms of like how it felt in the building overall. So let me bring him in. Hold on, if I can do it without hitting the wrong button again. There he is.
Hello.
Hi. You've been waiting patiently while we talk WrestleDream.
You should talk WrestleDream. There's plenty to talk about from that show.
How was your night?
It was fine. It wasn't amazing or anything like that. The Dynamite show in person, it was fine. I'm not sure if they killed the market or not for the live audience there.
I need for your next show to go, I am here for the cromulence.
That's a big sign.
There's a big sign that says perfectly cromulent wrestling.
Perfectly cromulent.
Perfectly cromulent wrestling. You are not wrong. That was the word that I should have come up with, and I was not locked and loaded at all. I was listening intently to you guys talking about the WrestleDream recap, and Kevin and I talked about it the other day. But
yes,
just revisiting it, it's just, man, I'm on board with everything that you guys are saying, and sitting in that Dynamite, I was intent on like, okay, you got your TV deal. You got everything going on. Like, you are lined up. Show us what you've got planned.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I know. I was just going to say to you, I was amazed that they didn't set the mood more for the arena. That was the thing that got me. It was all bright colors, and we're back here on Dynamite. Life goes on.
Yeah.
Well, Tony came out 3 or 4 times during the show to like hype up the crowd. So when we started that show, he had just come out for like 20 seconds to get everyone fired up. And then we got that Moxley, the whole crew, basically like doing the
let's go. And then they just go right to Mox.
Fired up and then and done. And I'll tell you, you had all the images of that in the arena, but everything he was saying felt like a babyface promo to me. Like, he was just like, we're going to take back AEW. We're going to we don't like what it's become. You've got a bunch of egos. I'm like, yes, I'm on board with you.
140 guys on the roster. Yeah.
Did you think about this? We were saying, and so
we have all this dead weight in the company. We're here to get rid of it. Cool.
And he's literally starting from the bottom and working his way up. That's what I like. He's like,
and so it was definitely weird energy because there was 20 minutes of nothing before we got the first match. There was a lot of talking head. You had Adam Cole come out there.
And there was no commercial break either.
No. And then you were just running through. You had the video packages, and all of a sudden, boom, FTR's out there. And then you have a 10-minute match. And I think for about an hour there, it was pretty consistent, wrestling. Move on to the next thing. You got wrestling. And so keeping you busy. It peaked with Shelton Benjamin and Leo Rush.
Mm-hmm.
There's no other way to say it. That was the match of the night. And the thing, everybody wanted to see Shelton Benjamin kill Leo Rush, and I was there with him.
Curryhead's got a serious question. Do you feel that Mox promo was a slap in the face to the IWC for feeling it's too many wrestlers in the company? I don't know if it's I think it's I don't know if it's a slap in the face as much as he agrees.
No, he's going for the tonal shift of, he's a real fighter versus the rest of the wrestlers. Right. For me, I think you stretchered out what is considered by this generation the greatest wrestler ever.
Yeah.
that needs to be taken into account at the top of your weekly television show. I don't care if you don't need to do the Vince McMahon, everybody stands on the stage there type thing. Do it around the ring, do it something, have Tony basically saying, I want to share an update with the fans and with the wrestlers about what happened at
How
the
is
end
he?
of Dynamite.
A medical
This is
update.
just simple show writing.
Yes,
for
that would have been a
sakes.
great beginning. Just go from that video package straight to like Tony Khan, put him in the ring.
Give it some
not
emotional
yelling.
resonance.
Yeah.
Maybe Moxley comes out and ruins it. I don't want him to beat up Tony, but maybe he beats up half the geeks who are standing around the ring.
Yeah.
Something. Or you just see the truck coming in and you just know party's over, kids.
Yeah.
You know,
The
check
pickup's
off-
rolling in.
check off Dodge
the
Ram.
boys are
pulls
back.
into the- yes. And yeah, it just was, hey, we're back here on Dynamite. Let's explain the angles because now, Moxley's mad and trying to do something. And I still don't know exactly what his problem is. Because it's like, because even Excalibur said it during the beatdown. It's like, no rhyme or reason to this whatsoever. I go, I feel you. I don't understand what he is so angry about. Because, okay, you got rid of Danielson. Obviously, he's not the problem. What is the problem? Tell me the problem other than you think everybody's gone soft in the locker room.
Mm-hmm.
Explain it. Give me the second beat to the premise. That's all I want. I don't need you to tell me the entire story. I don't need you to tell me who Kaiser Soze is pulling all the strings or whatever. I just need to know more than you're unhappy right now. And
He's so close, though. He's so
he
close
is
to it.
but it's dancing around it.
It's dancing
for the purpose
around
of
it.
being mysterious. And it's
Right.
it's coming off as Raven light in a way.
And
just
it's still like, I felt like tonight they were trying to make pretty clear that there's not a higher power. There's not like some string puller.
What
But
did
this
you say
is
to
Mox.
Pac to get him on board with this? What did you say to Yuta to get him on board with this? Anything.
Right.
Okay.
But the thing is, he's so close because all he has to do is say, what's wrong with this company was I wasn't on top.
Yes.
And
make it
now I
personal.
am.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now on the top. This company works best when I'm running it. So guess what? I'm tired of letting other people bicker and all this kind of stuff. I'm taking over.
I have one question about the rabbit hole before I let you guys just take over the show, and I'll just do the quick recap of what's left. Is did it in any way bother you guys that Moxley and crew did 2 beatdowns on the same group of people? Like the first one wasn't efficient enough? Like you couldn't have found another group of people to really sell the fact that they're killing everybody? Like
my favorite
you
part was
clearly
the
aren't good at beating ass if like 20 minutes later you're still doing it and they're giving you a fight.
Not only that, the Elite get backstage and Garcia and Duffy have beaten them to the back to say, hey, why are you guys leaving?
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't know if anyone, because I didn't know if they had addressed it on commentary or anything like that. But when I'm watching it, I'm like, wow, this is a pretty devastating beatdown in the ring. They left him lying. And then 40 minutes later, they're backstage, still beating them. And the guys are still standing, fighting back. You're like,
well,
no.
Reynolds was taped up to like implying that they had ended the beatdown and then they received medical attention and then were beating down again. So I don't know. You'd think if the whole joke is that there's 140 guys on the roster, they'd have more of a pick of the litter.
Yeah, everything
What'd you
does
say?
Off
seem like
Moxley
a bit of a
that the
troll.
heels have decided to turn babyface for corporate fealty's sake.
Right.
We love AEW so much. We're coming.
Yeah.
I just want one guy to go, look, I'm just here to do my job and get paid. You guys can have the corner office. All right.
That's okay.
A couple other notes from the live show. Queen Aminata and Mercedes Moné felt like a New Japan Strong match that would happen down the street all the time for New Japan. It was wrestled like that. It felt very vibish to that. I wouldn't be surprised if they run it back. And it was very clear in the arena that Kip Sabian and Hangman Page fucked up their cue because they ran it back completely. And we thought maybe there was something to it. But when Kip disappeared and then ran it all the way back a few seconds later, it's like,
I think I know what happened. We'll get to that when we run down the.
But
I think they cued the wrong
event.
guy.
With the whole, because Hangman, like, he had a look on his face like, I don't know what the fuck's happening here. And then
on TV, I don't know if you saw it, but on TV, he started selling the crazy eyes as if he was like
Yes.
trying to be like shh to everybody. Yeah.
He got to the ring and he looked across the ring and he saw Christian, and I think Christian and him locked eyes, and Christian's like, no, this is not the time. And so he disappeared, and then they kept going with the match, and I think they went like 5 or 6 more minutes, and then they repeated the whole thing all over again. And I was just like, Kip, you fucked that one up, buddy. Because it was all Kip. He was the one that started the when Kip
I don't know if it was.
I think Hangman
I don't think it
missed
was.
his cue.
No, I think it was Christian.
Oh, really?
No, Kip ran out because the ring first.
Right. But because the cue, I believe that the cue was Christian lining up for the spear. And he did that and everything happened. But it wasn't time yet. And I think there were 2. He was going to do it twice. Okay. And he either didn't tell him or whatever. But like the setup that cued them was the same both times. And it was Christian lining up for the spear. So I think whatever, they just thought, oh, spear, go.
Got it.
And which is, that's my theory anyway.
And then Shelton Benjamin and Leo Rush was the hottest the crowd got all night, I thought.
Agreed.
And that was it from the live show. And I'm gonna give it back to you guys, and I'm gonna get out of here.
Plug your stuff where you go.
All right. Well, we got speaking of strong style tomorrow, Thursday. We're gonna be talking about the King of Pro Wrestling, including Zack Sabre Jr. Becoming the new King of Pro Wrestling in New Japan Pro Wrestling. Hiroshi Tanahashi retiring in a year and some change.
Year and 10 months.
Naito basically retiring too, if you read between the lines with everything going on that show. And all else. We go 90 minutes. Usually it's with Stephen Conway, but tomorrow we got Scott E. Wrestling, and we're going to be talking all things Stardom with the crossover coming up in November. There's a lot going on with New Japan. If you need caught up in any way, check it out on the YouTube channel, Speaking of Strong Style. And back to you guys.
Thanks, Jeremy. Have a good night.
You too, guys. Take care.
Right. All right.
Let's go.
Okay, so we already talked about the video package that kicked it off.
Yes.
Do you have any more to say about that? Anything?
No, just the happy mood threw me off for a moment.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Dynamite,
now that you put
this
the visual in my head of just starting with
specter of
Tony
doom.
Khan. Yeah, all solemn, but like, hey guys, I know it's rough. I talked to Bryan. He's at home. He's going to go into surgery, but we're going to do our best. Have a great show. Like I would have, like that. I told you no impressions, but that was my Tony Khan.
AEW's a family.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Give a bad HR rah-rah speech. Sure.
Yeah. I will say the one thing I noticed from the video package was how much care they took to show preview who the big babyface players are going to be in this Mox run. Yeah. Cassidy, Garcia, Hook, Briscoe, and Darby. Those are the 5 phases they kept showing.
I'm cool with that.
So I think they've picked their next little generation of babyface. So yeah, I like that. All right. So like we said before, this was a long segment with, before they went to commercial.
No, don't put that out there. Don't
Paul has entered the chat.
Yes.
Thank you. Adam Cole comes out with the guaranteed pop music. Is there any more successful theme song at just making a crowd pop than that, other than maybe Stone Cold's?
The Rock.
Yeah.
MJF.
That music, though.
Boo pops.
That music, though, guaranteed to make people scream.
Yes, I will.
So he comes out and immediately we're back in Adam Cole, what Adam Cole does all the time, which is say story time. And I'm going to do a whole lot of exposition.
Yes.
He immediately tried to tie up any loose story threads in a bow by calling out the Kingdom and just saying, hey, just everyone knows, love you, but you're not going to be part of this story.
I'm on my own now because those guys are mid-carders.
Because they're mid-carders and I got to get back up there. Then he talks about how wrestling is shades of gray and then gives examples of shades of gray, like good and evil and right and wrong. Which
I became the devil.
Yeah, to fight the devil.
Fight MJF.
Right.
Or
to
MGF,
show you how fake he was.
Yes.
I became more evil than him to show you how evil he was.
This is wrong. Look, I am all for trying to tie up loose ends if you can make it make sense.
Yeah. Best to just move on.
I'm gonna try and babyface Satan himself too. Yeah, the Archangel Michael was flawed. Got sent down to hell.
Yes.
Actually a good fella, but misunderstood. No.
Better to rule in
Just
hell.
say, I was thinking while I was recovering, what a jerk I was.
Right.
Boom.
That's what he did last
Now
time,
we're
and
out
it
of
worked
it.
great.
Yes.
Yeah.
But no,
No.
MJF's a fraud,
No.
and I
But
was
then-
the devil.
Right. And then he went to, I don't know who's a bigger mark for MJF, Adam Cole or MJF, because he spent the entire, it's like the thing where it's like, let me spend 5 minutes telling you how rent free in my head MJF is.
Yes. The superhero origin story for these two guys again.
Right. So then he calls out MJF. Does the necessary plug to talk about how AEW is where the best wrestle are, and there's a bunch of guys in the locker room who are hungry. And then they go to a WrestleDream graphic.
And speaking of plugs, also does the necessary burial of MJF getting hair plugs.
Yeah.
Which apparently is now a weekly thing.
I almost think MJF doesn't have hair plugs, and he just decided to tell people to say that.
Could be.
So MJF appears on screen drinking wine in his lavish parlor. Kind of feeds into the story a little bit, his own version of the story, where he even goes further by like saying like, I learned to trust, and then he basically makes himself the babyface again.
Yes. No, you nailed it. You nailed my point that I had here in my sheet.
Yeah.
He's doing the super villain, but I have a point origin story.
Right.
No.
I learned to trust, and you broke my heart. So now I'm evil, and it's your fault.
Yes, it's your fault you turned me into this Superman.
Right.
That's why
So
my
he says,
hair blew off.
Right. He made him lose this. That's what he said. I lost my hair because of you, Adam Cole.
Yes, that should have been it. He needed a cheese board is what he needed with the wine. That would have been awesome.
told him that he's not going to get a match with him, and he's going to dangle the carrot of revenge in front of him for the rest of his life, but he's never going to get it. Then signs off. Cole then talks to the screen, saying like, I know you're watching, which I thought, why don't you talk to the camera then instead of the screen? Because the screen's not watching you. And basically just said, I will get you, and we'll have a match at some point. And then walked out of the ring, and then someone told him he needed to pose at the top of the ring and stall, I guess, because they...
Yeah, or there was the wrong part of the music or something.
Yeah, that's what that's what it was. He forgot where in the song he was, and he thought
Yes.
the big boom thing was coming, and it wasn't. So...
I hate the I'm not going to fight you story.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can do that not yet, not until you're a number one contender. You can do a lot of things within it, but overall, this is weak. This is weak sauce, and we're right back to where we were.
Yeah, just right where we left off.
You know what I do expect, though? I expect that he's going to have to go through the kingdom to get to MJF.
I actually thought when he stopped at the ramp and
when you saw the big pan shot, you thought somebody was coming out.
The kingdom's coming out.
Yeah,
or they convinced Wardlow he needs to go back. Yeah.
That's how we reintroduce
I
Hobb.
agree. Yeah.
Yeah, I just think this is weak. The exposition stuff, I don't care about the exposition. Make it personal, and they're making it personal, but they're not making it personal. You know,
right? They're making it personal by just expositating.
Yeah, exposition. Yeah, it's the I became the devil to fight you. Well, you turned me into this villain.
Yeah,
it's like, why do you just say you can't stand the guy?
I learned it from you, Dad.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so then we go to Renee in a pre-tape from after WrestleDream, talking to a sweaty Jericho, and he says he feels vindicated by the match with Mark Briscoe. I don't remember why he felt vindicated. I was typing. But I liked how they did a little mix of highlights where they put the highlight package over his over his interview. Showed the end of the match. He said that he wants a rematch, and he wants to become a 2-time ROH champion, just like Jay Briscoe. Not wise.
No, I liked the I'm such a jerk baby or jerk heel that I'm going to go back to the well to piss you off. The one thing The one thing I didn't like is that everybody asked for a rematch on this show, including I think the other things that didn't ask for a rematch is getting a rematch. Like I think Willow and Mariah are getting a rematch because they pretty much brought it up.
That's a really good point.
I think Private Party wants a rematch.
Yep.
Jericho wants a rematch. The only person who doesn't want a rematch is Bryan Danielson.
Oh, too soon. Too soon. All right. So then they cut straight from that tape to presumably live with Renee and Mark Briscoe asking him his reaction for it. He's still kind of playing low key Mark, which I like. I like how he played this. He's still low key, basically saying, you know what? You knew it was going to work, and it did work because you're going to get a match, but we're going to crank it up. We're going to do a ladder war, a very famous Briscoe match for the ROH title. And I thought, oh, this is going to be like Full Gear or Final Battle, but nope, it's next week on Dynamite, which is fine.
Jericho's totally getting this title, isn't he?
Oh, Jericho absolutely is. And I had a theory for why.
I liked
pre-show, but I don't think it's happening.
I liked the ending of the pay-per-view. It seemed like a good.
It was a good one and done feud.
Psychic break. Yes, yeah. we fought. He lost. Whatever. Maybe somebody in the learning tree wants to take up for him. You know, or do something like that. Instead, we're gonna get this ladder war, and we're gonna screw Mark Briscoe, and Jericho's gonna be the champ to get heat and to get number 9.
Yeah.
And the only saving grace of this will be if Moxley takes out Jericho so that he can then be part of the savior crew for AEW.
Gosh.
Because I think that's coming. I think he's going to say, I'm tired of this goofy stuff, learning tree stuff, so that then you can eventually break off Big Bill to be a babyface too. But I think they're taking out Jericho eventually. Maybe that's how they get past him not winning the title. Maybe.
That would be interesting. I mean, that would kind of fit with the Jericho logic of like, this is starting to get played out.
Yes.
Let me take a little break and come back, reinvent, bring back Judas, all that.
He's going on tour with Fozzy.
Yeah, he's going on tour. Yeah, you're right. So then FTR strolls up with Mark, and I thought, ooh, Briscoe and FTR against the Learning Tree. That should be fun. But no, it's going to be FTR versus Big Bill and the Bad Apple right now. Which when they announced it, I thought, good. I like that matchup. So I was looking forward to that.
Good to see FTR back on a show that people watch.
Yeah. And just being a tag team, doing tag team matches.
Yes.
So they come out. We still haven't done commercial yet at this point, I think. And while they start the match, Nigel points out, this is the first time they've really directly addressed it, that Bryan Danielson is out. His career is over and he may be injured. And then he said he may be back someday, but for now, Bryan Danielson is dead. So strong words from Nigel.
Dead serious about going to Itchy and Scratchy Land.
Yeah. He's gone back to his home planet.
Fuji has gone back to his home planet.
I noticed they mentioned that Big Bill's a former AEW tag team champion without mentioning, and I had to think to myself, who was he partner? Oh yeah, it was Ricky Starks.
No, because this match made me remember how good of a team that Starks and Big Bill run was, especially in that FTR match where they just murdered death them for the titles.
Oh man, I miss Ricky Starks.
I missed him as part of this Big Bill team. I thought they were spectacular.
Yeah,
together.
They were great. They were. Shout out to Ricky Starks. We miss you. A couple of things of note. I liked Big Bill countering the Shadow Machine just by punching Cash Wheeler in the face.
Yes.
That was fantastic. There was a cool finisher move by the Learning Tree that was a diamond dust into a big boot.
Liked it.
Great. One of those great, tandem moves that actually the momentum of the person actually makes it.
And it makes you go, okay, cool. So while they're in the stable, they've been going over thinking about tag team finishers. I'm here for this. I like that. Yeah.
Jericho's a multi-time tag team champion. He's been teaching him how to be a big guy, little guy team.
Yes.
Then they cut to, FTR comes back, hits the Shatter Machine for the win. Nice, clean win. No big aftermath, except they cut to LFI watching FTR on the screen. Mortos, Roosh, and
let's pause here for a moment. Number one, shout out to Brian Keith for saving his knees on that double step over move.
Yes.
I was just like, oh.
The crowd actually popped for it.
Yeah,
People actually cheered him doing the double step over.
because I thought he was going to trip. I swear, I'm
Yeah.
watching that going, oh, he's going to blow his knee out doing this dumb thing. Number 2, is there anything more magnificently stupid? And I say this in the most I was amused by it way than Mordos in a polo shirt.
Oh, I didn't even notice the polo.
He was wearing a golf polo, and it was the most amazing thing.
Oh, man.
I'm here for business casual Mortos. He needs khakis and the polo. He needs to be wearing Nigel's outfit.
Is that going to be his next gimmick, like Happy Corbin or something? Just business casual Mortos. He just goes corporate.
He's back there doing that.
He's putting in PTO requests for Saturday.
Yes. I don't want to work overtime. It's Casual Friday. And
Casual
LFI.
Friday on Rampage is Casual Friday. I love it. In his slides.
I cracked up every time he's wearing this burgundy polo shirt, just doing the little growling thing.
I love the idea of just
Go
walking
dress
around
up.
backstage. Yeah.
I'm a Minotaur. I don't know how. Brooks
I've
Brothers?
never once thought about who's under that mask. That's what I love about him. Like, I just imagine him walking around and there's people who have no idea what he looks like because he's just walking around with that bullhead through catering. Like, just stuffing like
in real life, just walking
flan
around,
into his mask.
Oh, yeah. He's like a red drape somewhere and just runs towards it.
Yep. Surprised they haven't done that with like Orange Cassidy or something.
They did.
Oh, they did?
Yes.
Did I miss it? Oh,
I think
forgot about that.
He did it with somebody. Oh, he might have done it with a Roosh. I don't know, but he did it with somebody.
Okay. So they're watching the music. Suddenly cuts. We think, oh, who's FTR's next opponents? But no, it's the Outrunners, the people who should have been the number 1 contenders to the tag titles this past weekend.
They referenced the training video, and they showed. I think they showed it on Collision, but man, they need to show it on this.
They need to show it again. Yeah.
Oh, that thing is amazing.
Dax's bleached mustache. So then they come out, and also they can just do the Mega Power handshake. And I noticed that Outrunners also had FTR runners on their tights.
Yes, I'm here for this pairing. This is
go for the
for
the Quattro titles, I guess.
A lot of this booking was Hawkins centric in many ways of acts that Jeff really likes. So I am for this. I am going to be very. Dare I say, I think FTR is going to be turning on the Outrunners. Because I don't see the Outrunners turning on FTR.
No. Here for that. I'm here for that.
Eventually. I was watching this going, there's no way we can turn the Outrunners back on FTR and not make them geeks. So if we're going to do something with them, it has to be FTR that turns on them eventually.
It'd be interesting to see what FTR would need to do to
get they're going to outrunner the Outrunners. Cash is going to dye his hair blonde.
Oh no!
And Dax is going to grow a
He's just going to go full Dennis Condrey.
Yes. Oh, Cash is scuzzy Dennis Condrey.
Yeah.
Gimme.
He'll start wearing the half tanks.
He'll have handkerchief around his neck.
Handkerchief around the neck, the half tank.
Oh yeah.
Bandana around the belt. The
baby oil with the body hair. Yes. Yep. Give me that.
Just leaning on the counter. Yeah. Okay, I'm good for that.
We're good. We're cool.
Yeah. Okay, so Renee's backstage with the Acclaimed. This is interesting, kind of. Daddy ass makes an excuse to leave. He's got to go get the car, so I can't do my job. My one thing I had to do tonight was do this promo, and I can't do it because I got to go get the car. Max says they got their body right, they got their mind right, and they want more and more. MVP, basically they're just stalling until MVP shows up. He offers his card to the Acclaimed. Anthony says, we don't need anything from you, but Max takes the card and puts it in his pocket. Yes. And keeps watching them as they leave, and we see Anthony notice him watching them. So
I compared this to a comic book from long ago called Underworld Unleashed. I actually got it wrong. I said Villains Unleashed, but it's Underworld Unleashed, where Neron, the devil, is trying to make deals with various things, just kind of giving a card that, you could show up, I'll make you more powerful than ever type of thing. I love this MVP character. As seen later, he's the one straight heel in this company, not trying to be funny, just trying to be serious, to trying to build a business. I I'm enjoying watching him go about tempting people, and I want to see who actually.
Yeah,
I'm kind of hoping the CEO takes him up on it with Camille in tow, but I don't think that's going to happen. But we'll see.
Speaking of that, CEO and for booking for Fight Game Media people, this is the Garrett Gonzalez special too.
Oh, this is the Hawkins.
Mercedes Mone versus Queen Aminata.
Kevin, the past 2 weeks, Emi Sakura and Queen Aminata for Mercedes. Happy.
Yep. Yes.
Go ahead.
It's Hawkins season.
I'm gonna complain after you talk about the match.
Okay. So he announced, Justin Roberts announced that this match is for the TBS Championship. No reaction. So I think, because I don't know if people thought, I actually thought I heard TNT and I thought, oh, it's Jack Perry. And then I realized, oh, he said TBS.
Mm-hmm.
Mercedes comes out. I can't really tell what her pop is because the music, like you can't really tell.
Yeah, and there's too many haters on Twitter going, oh, they're really trying to get that CEO chant over. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
We have to ask Jeremy about that. Maybe That's Jeremy can pop back in the chat.
Yeah, just pop
Tell
in.
us if it's over.
So they do a quick recap of how Aminata got the match, which is basically just being there when Mercedes. Yeah, she's backstage. Mercedes didn't know her. And I believe Excalibur said Mercedes didn't know her, but everyone else does. And I don't know if that's true. I enjoyed it. I thought it was, like you said, like Jeremy said, it was a decent New Japan strong style. Yeah, I liked seeing that
octopus roll quite a bit. I thought that was
great.
The rolling cradle. My complaint then, since you don't have a strong take on this necessarily, and I'm not saying that as a bad thing. I'm just saying, as what got Queen Aminata to the dance was her chops.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't book a single chop spot for this. And they've been doing this a lot since Aminata became a babyface character as opposed to a heel character in Ring of Honor and stuff like that. And it's not working. She needs to chop somebody. And it would have been a nice connective tissue between Emi and Queen Aminata as well, because Emi was the one threatening to chop her chest into a cave or whatever, cave in her chest. Aminata somebody said, well, maybe she's still smarting from the Emi chop. I get that, but Mercedes is a gamer.
Yeah.
And one other thing that she does is whenever they're in San Jose, she does a Bailey spot.
Oh, I didn't think of that. What'd she do?
The sunset power bomb into the turnbuckle.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
She always does, and I think Bailey returns the favor when they're in Boston. And so it's always one of those cool little things to see the hello type of thing from because Bailey's over in Europe right now, so she couldn't sneak into the show under cover of darkness as she usually does. Yeah. But it's always cool that they are still tight that way.
I love that. A little tug on the ear for everybody.
I was just flustered that they didn't do a Aminata chop spot to get her over with the crowd, because that thing every time she does one of those, I think
she threw like one chop, and I remember
she threw a slap to Camille
like against the ropes. That's what it was. Yeah, I remember thinking. But you're right. I love Queen Aminata. I like that she's chill, but I think her chill demeanor. Yeah, her chill demeanor isn't helping her, even though it's kind of what I like about her.
It's almost heel-like, her interest, where she does the one and only little move.
Right.
I want her to be a little bit more invested in it, because I do like her. I like her a lot. It's one of those things where it's like, this is coming off. You think it's coming off chill, but it's coming off as blasé.
Yes, that's what it is.
And I want something a little bit more. If you're gonna act like a queen, let's get all regal and stuff. Let's really go into it hard and do it if we're gonna play this. And then hey, we could have an Emi Aminata's feud. That'd be kind of awesome for me. Yeah. That kind of thing. Let's go deep into the character and let's build this thing then. Because it's really coming off as a little bit. Hey, I put my finger in it's almost like EO does that thing with the hand thing sometimes, where you just kind of go, well, sometimes it just feels like you're just doing a hand motion when
you're just doing the thing.
There was
a match Aminata did several weeks back where it was like a super fast squash.
Yes.
I think it was on Collision, and that was like, oh, that I like that, because it was just that disdain, of like, you're just beneath me.
She's great as a heel. It's just the babyface stuff isn't working.
Yeah.
Because it's
And the match was good, and she was doing all the right things in the match, but it was just one of those cases where it's like nobody bought anything. You know, it was just no one's beating Mercedes tonight. So
I have a question as to whether or not she messed up the spot where she was trying to readjust Mercedes, and they just lost it for a moment with she
air raid crash, like she was spinning her around. There was one where she did, and it was like
she had her from behind, and then she put her up, and she was trying to lift her up a little bit more. It seemed like she was going to do a electric chair slam of some kind like that, and then she just decided to get around the waist type of a thing.
Yeah.
Other than that, I enjoyed it. I mean, there's no need to harp on it. I don't know anything about working.
It's perfectly cromulent.
Yes.
All right. So then they do a recap of Buck's private party. At this point, I was like, I liked the fact that they were, even though they hadn't really addressed Danielson enough, that they were making this a WrestleDream had impact. Here's, they kept reminding you, like, there was a big show last weekend, and here's what happened.
Still available for replay. Buy it on pay-per-view. Hint, hint.
I don't know if Bucks versus Private Party would be the match. I mean, it was good, but I don't know if it'd be one of those. This wasn't the Hardys versus Edge and Christian in '99.
It wasn't as good as the match they did 5 years ago.
No.
It was still good, but it wasn't as good type of a thing.
Well, the Bucks have lost like half a step, I think. So
yes, that too.
Let's see. Renee is working overtime tonight. She's with Private Party. They asked the Bucks to be there, so the Bucks come up. They say we lost, so we want another shot. And the Bucks say, they point out that they let him, not that they let him, but that they kicked out of the EVP trigger. We're sure to point that out. And then Nick said, sorry, that doesn't work for us, brother. And also, you're never going to get a shot again. He clearly said that. You will never get a shot at this again. So then they walk off. Stokely arrives to rub it in and points out that they've been in AEW since the Obama administration. He says, you could have had me in your corner, but you said no. I think that's new information. And then
they offered on the Go Home show for WrestleDream. He offered, and they go, we don't need you.
Okay.
And then he started dressing as a page boy and from Newsies.
He's a newsie.
and he's in the audience, like, either laughing or pouting, one of the two. Yeah. And he's now wearing the cap again. So yeah.
So then he says, the next time you challenge and you lose, you're done. Even though they were just told they're never going to get to challenge again. So I guess what they're doing is they're setting up career versus title or tag team career versus title, like the SCU gimmick where they.
Oh my God, you're right. Because that's why he dropped that's why Zay's the star.
Zay's the single star anyway.
Oh God.
Yeah.
I think they may have decided to break up.
Well, that's fine with me. I'm higher on Zay than Mark Quinn, even though
I'm higher on Top Flight than I am them.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And that's the parallel, although I still don't know after tonight what they're going to be doing with Andretti, because it felt like he was turning heel, but
yeah, for a while I thought it was
Leo Rush is the guy to turn heel, to be honest with you.
I thought it was going to be Leo and Andretti against Top Flight.
That's what I thought,
like a split in half and just have some killer, crazy early card matches. Okay, so then the Elite come out. They got some real boos, which was good. They were backstage. Jack Perry is just merciless. Says it's Kenny Omega's birthday. And he knows that he's sitting at home because he had 20 feet of his putrid intestines pulled out. So they got him a sheet cake, which is the blandest sheet cake you've ever seen. It's just black with like white letters of Happy Birthday, Kenny. And then they just dump the most disgusting pile of entrails on it. It was shocking.
Ruined a perfectly good cake. Right. Instead of the cake going in someone's face, someone's guts went onto the cake. I hope you come back or don't. Maybe die.
Or you die. I don't care. Perry says you could get well soon or die. And then Okada throws in a happy birthday bitch just for a little cheer. Yeah. So Perry's just a genuine jerk.
I like that.
I still don't get into his matches though.
No, and he's not owning the scene enough on the promo to me.
Yeah.
It feels like I just have this one gotcha line type of a thing as opposed to really owning it with charisma.
It's kind of the Aminata thing where he's like trying to be chill and smarmy, and he needs to be more bombastic.
Yeah, stop being disaffected by it. Be affected by it. Show some emotion.
Right.
You know, maybe he really does hate Kenny Omega, and that makes him angry or something. Yeah, I agree.
Okay. Time for the conglomeration match of the night. Orange Cassidy, Kyle O'Reilly, and Rocky Romero against the Young Bucks and Okada. Rocky's forced to wear the conglomeration shirt that has all the faces of the people in the conglomeration except his on it. Then the camera missed Matt pulling a coin like magic out of Nick's ear. I noticed.
Did they miss it or did it just not?
He started to do it like he was trying to do it, and then they cut away. When they came back, he had the coin in his hand, and like Nick was like, where did that come from?"
Yeah, and then they tried to get the audio cue in there at the same time.
They never hit that audio cue.
Yep.
So they bring out Okada. They did bring up that Rocky was formerly Okada's best friend in New Japan and in Chaos, but they really didn't play it up in the match at all that I saw. Like they didn't really play like anything of like,
because it's just information they put out there.
Yeah.
It's like every time they do that, you expect them to follow. Like we've been expecting Yano to show up in AEW for years, just as a one-off type thing.
Right.
Even though Tony hates them, and they never do. It's always just one of those. Hey, here's something for all the message board guys. Hey, remember that he's in New Japan? He was his friend. Blah blah blah, and then they just do nothing with it.
I figured though that Rocky would play it out. Whether it was
as
part of the story or
part
not,
of the match?
that he would at least have a little bit of like, come on, man, or something. Whatever. Let's see. Oh, the Elite have a trios record of 4-2 because records still matter, I guess.
When do the next rankings come out?
Yeah, whenever the next rankings come out, they're due for a title shot. Let's see. Pretty fast paced. I mean, it's a conglomeration match. A lot of fast paced spots.
It's a party match until it got interrupted.
Yep. Until it got interrupted. So let's see if there's anything of note. Oh, the Bucks. This is what I wrote down as the stupid spot of the night that still made me laugh. Was the Bucks stopping to pump up their Reeboks, and Kyle O'Reilly realizing that they're so into pumping up the Reeboks, he just stands up, walks over, and makes the tag. It was not exactly a hot tag, but it made me laugh.
Kyle O'Reilly always has I'm not the biggest Kyle O'Reilly guy in the world, but he always has just one spot where you just go, God, that's creative.
Yeah.
Like there was one that first NXT, it was him and Fish versus I think it was triple threat. I want to say it was Cole and O'Reilly versus the Authors of Pain versus DIY, I think. And then he gets hit. And he just stands for a second, and then he just knocks himself out while rolling out of the ring. We've seen that spot a few times, and there was one in there's one on the pre-show too, if I recall, that he'll show his personality, but he'll show his personality once.
Yeah, just a flash.
Yes,
just enough to make you curious. So anyway, this point, I don't know if DQs are as rare as they used to be, but this was an effective DQ. I thought, because
they should use them more. They don't need to overuse them.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Basically, you just get the party match and then you kill the party. I mean, and
then you get the heat from the crowd for killing the party. It's
Pac and Claudio hit the ring. Pac's got a briefcase, and this got some real boos. I mean, it was like people were really mad, and I was like, "That's great. The BCC are actually over his heels."
Yes.
And then when Mox came out, the boos increased, which I thought, that's great. Jon Moxley is actually over as a heel. Let's see. So then they hit the ring. Bucks and Okada back up and just sort of watch from the ramp in disbelief. And then Dante, Darius, and Action hit the ring. Marina chokes Darius with his own jacket. The Dark Order comes in. They beat them all down. Perry comes out and pulls them out, to say let's all go back, which I thought was interesting that he's the most. They're just sort of watching in disbelief, but he's like, let's actually get out of here.
And the Bucks, their disbelief is this.
Yeah. I'm surprised, yeah.
Put this last comment up there. Yes. because I think that's how it's going to go. I think Jack Perry's going to stay heel, and I think the other three are going to turn babyface.
That's wild to me. Like, I don't say that's wrong, but like, boy, that whole elite thing would turn out to be a bunch of nothing, huh?
Well, yes, but at the same time, it's Jack Perry is on his own. Jack Perry is the one saying, I hate Kenny Omega. They actually got him a cake. It was Jack Perry that ruined the cake.
I wasn't picking up on the subtlety of the storytelling there.
Oh, yeah. Well, this is Jeff writing a story in his head, much like he always yells at the fans of doing. But yeah, no, I do think that the end game of this is that the elite are going to eventually get crushed by the BCC.
Wow.
But you need to turn them babyface. And I think the way they do that is that Jack Perry doesn't go along with them. Maybe Okada doesn't as well. I could see that, but dude, every time he says bitch, it gets a giant pop.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be with Okada. It's so easy. All they have to do is put him face to face with Mox, and people will instantly cheer for him against Mox.
Yes.
Like you don't even have to justify it. All he has to do, they did it with Takeshita or Hangman. It was like, just put Okada against people they want to see him against instead of just walking around, and people will get excited. Anything else on that? Oh, Mox comes out and talks in some more riddles, says you're involved with AEW, you're under attack. If you don't like it, this is the cost of doing business. Like, it's like a random word generator.
Yes.
Almost. It's like you typed into ChatGPT, just make random threats.
Well, it's that combined with the Stamford special of we're taking over this company.
Yeah, right.
If you're not with us, you're against us.
Which again is so close. Like, they're so close. If it's just Mox saying like this place is own, like, don't make it about the state of AEW. Make it about the state of Jon Moxley. And Jon Moxley saying, I'm not taking backseat to Bryan Danielson. I'm not taking backseat to anyone else. I run this company.
Don't make the company a character. Don't make the company, good or bad.
Yeah.
Don't make it a workplace drama or something like that. It's like, man, I hate working at Dunder Mifflin, and becomes like The Office except for wrestling or whatever. And the other thing that's actually kind of dangerous, and it should be what they're doing, is okay, if anybody can be attacked at any time, BCC's gonna have to get rid of some heels. Yeah. Problem with that is then the entire locker room comes in and just should be at some point, the entire locker room should then just turn on these BCC creeps and beat the ever loving piss out of them. Not just certain people. I mean, everybody.
Yeah. Just like a Royal Rumble beatdown or something.
I mean, we're going to do the corporate, and I don't like corporate fealty things. I don't like, I love working here and it's the best place to work ever. And so it's my job. I come in for, my hours. I clock in, I clock out, and then I have a family to feed. I'm still waiting for Renee to comment on the fact that he's hanging around with a strange woman.
Right. Yeah. Someone's saying that. Yeah. Also, my husband's a murderer and he's hanging out with a strange woman.
Well, in canon, because they've involved Renee in the Hangman Moxley thing. Okay, we all know that they're married.
And they've established that Renee is very close with Bryan Danielson and Brie.
Yes.
So how does she feel about what just happened?
Do you have a studio apartment that you are now living in?
Yeah, and they could even, never mind. I'm not even going to go there.
No, we're just fantasy booking at this point, but they should just get some depth to it. That's all I want.
Right. I think that was about it for that segment.
Yes.
Probably Chris Daniels came out at the end because he's a very effective boss. And
God.
Then they mentioned that Darby has been
Christopher Daniels.
Yeah, just Darby has been unreachable since the end of WrestleDream, which we'll come back to. Then they cut back to the Elite. I did like that they sort of continue with like, this is a live show happening and things are happening in the other part of the building. And so let's cut to the Elite who are in the hallway waiting on their cue to start walking.
Yes. Oh, this is something that needs to be cleaned up.
Yeah.
They need to be doing, they need to roll, speed, it's like, background. Everybody just go
10 feet back.
Yes.
And when you start counting to 5, start walking.
Yes. You and I have been on sets and made movies and stuff. Yes.
Right.
You can't just.
Yes. You start the action first and then.
Yes.
Okay. Um,
and then Garcia, who's
yeah,
once again a geek,
yes.
comes
I'm so
on,
mad about that.
him and Top Flight
Yeah, him and Top
beat
Flight.
them to the back when they were in the ring before.
Right. Or it's him and Private Party.
Yeah, you're right. It's Private Party.
Perry goes nose to nose with him and he backs off. So they start walking away. And I loved how as they start walking away, like once they're like 10 or 15 feet away from them, Isaiah just goes, "Watch your mouth," to them as they're leaving. And then Garcia says, "I've got your back if you've got mine."
If
so
he
Garcia,
had said one more thing, I would have been right in there fighting him.
Almost.
I'm actually here if they break up Private Party and one of them ends up in this BCC crew, like the one who didn't get his hand broken, like Quinn.
Oh gosh, Mark Quinn. He just becomes Wheeler Yuta's young boy.
Yes,
like Yuta's just abusing him.
Font
That's
of
what we
charisma,
need. Yuta needs a
Yuta.
young boy.
Oh God,
he needs someone to just abuse.
You've taught me well, William Regal.
Right. Okay, so then we do WrestleDream highlight of the Swerve Raw segment, and Leo. Okay, they just do the highlight segment, just recapping that Swerve loves Prince Nana. Leo Rush then comes out with Layla Gray in tow. I like that pairing.
Book for me.
Not dressed as a
I
stewardess.
am pro Layla Gray because she works everywhere. She's out here now training at the New Japan dojo.
Yeah,
with her
she's
husband.
just out there getting things done, man.
Grinding. Of course, she just put out a single too, and it's terrible, but nevertheless.
Okay. Great.
It's called Baddie.
Oh, I wonder if it's her theme song.
It is. It will be.
Well, it should be. Shelton Benjamin comes out and feels like a much bigger deal than I've seen him in a long, long time.
He got a pop.
Yeah. His tights say Hurt Syndicate, so I guess that's the name if I haven't heard them coin that yet.
Yes.
And also Shelton Benjamin is a large human being, and I forgot how big he is.
Yes.
And also Leo Rush is a tiny man. And so this felt like Brock Lesnar, like a Brock Lesnar match, or like a Brody Lee versus Darby match.
I love Leo Rush though. Yeah. He has that swag coming to the ring. He is the rare guy, and I wrote this, who pulls off being a heel high flyer when he does that. Like he's a good baby face, but when he's a heel doing the high flying bit and stuff,
right,
he nails it because his offense is always been, and he's just got that heel jerk
swagger,
fighter pilot swagger, like from Top Gun or whatever. I mean, he is,
or like the elite cornerback on the NFL who just like slaps the balls out of receivers' hands and just taunts them.
Yes. Yeah, he's the guy in your stable who's running his mouth too much and gets everybody else into a fight. You know, that's
right.
That's what I want. I love that dude, and I loved this match.
I did too.
Shelton's just awesome. He's never not been awesome.
I forgot Shelton, and I apologize.
I mean, to me, when you say Money in the Bank, the first couple of highlights for me is Shelton Benjamin doing amazing crap on the ladder.
Yep.
I just recently watched a tag match, and I think it was a dark match of him and Brock as the Minnesota Stretching Crew.
Mm-hmm. I think I saw that. Did it just pop up recently?
I think so.
Yeah,
but man, he is. I mean, he's always been great, and you're always. I mean, he did that New Japan run, and it was good. And he was up there, and I forgot what stable he was a part of. Suzuki.
He was Suzuki Gun, yeah.
Yeah, and it was always like, well, are you gonna take him to that next level? And they never quite did, so he went back to the States and stuff like that. He's a good heater, is what he is. Because
but I like what they're doing in delaying when and if Lashley's coming in. I actually like that they made the call to delay it.
They're establishing Shelton as a threat on his own. And
it gives him a chance to be a threat on his own.
Yeah.
I like it. And I like how they built it up. It wasn't just like, let's have a match. It was like, he's going to come out and be super impressive against the guy he's going to look the most impressive against.
Yes. And while I love Leo Rush, him getting murder death was fine.
Oh, yeah. Just ragdolled. Yeah.
Just killed. It was great.
Yeah. It was great. Exploder.
They gave him an interesting finisher too.
That exploder power slam thing.
Well, yeah. Well, it was basically I thought it was a Uranagi. Now that I was thinking about it, I guess it wasn't. But it was something he can just do out of nowhere, as opposed to like a setup move. Like it wasn't. But man, I just Nigel, he kicked the back of his head by going through his face.
Yeah.
Because I thought the same thing. I go, oh my God, there's a little mustard on
Nigel on Dynamite's been good.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously it's just like you're instantly going to get improvement. But...
Oh, you're not on Twitter that much, but Taz had an amazing tweet on Sunday night.
Was it where he was complaining about the color commentators?
Yes!
Yeah, I think you sent us that. Yeah.
I went, the nerve of this man to complain about color commentary in two different sports.
Right. Bob Costas Jones over here.
I hope he was self-aware. I hope he was self-aware.
Yeah, I hope that he was like doing that to troll.
Yeah. Got me. Hooked me in.
But I digress. I did like MVP, short little promo, and he gave a card to Leo. Put a little card in Leo's tights.
Stuffed it in his tights and kind of pointed. You ran your mouth and kind of pointed the cane at his mouth like he was going to shut it for him or something like that.
Yep. You ran your mouth.
As I said, MVP is the heel manager we've all been waiting for.
Mm-hmm.
Just a straight ahead, no nonsense Gary Hart type. And I'm here for this.
Me too. Shelton's now called the standard of excellence instead of the gold standard. But that's great. Good for Shelton. Super happy. He's the new Claudio to me, and someone that I didn't think I wanted in AEW, but once he got here, I was like, okay, you're pretty awesome. Okay, so Excalibur says that Darby hasn't been seen since WrestleDream, but before WrestleDream, he taped this segment with Tony Hawk. And then they cut to a video of Darby Allin who says Tony Hawk is not here.
Oh, I died.
That was so AEW.
I had dumbbells in my hand. I almost dropped them because I was just laughing so much. I was like, yeah, be kidding me. Did anybody smarten up Excalibur that Tony Hawk wasn't in the segment, or was it just on the run sheet? It goes, Darby and Tony Hawk. Hey,
yeah, nobody watched the video. But Darby's selling 8x10s of him and Tony Khan. Tony Khan is in the photo.
Me and my David Bixen span voice. AEW, everybody.
Shop AEW if you want to buy the pictures. Support skate parks around town. So it's a nice charitable thing. But,
children everywhere getting hurt. That's a great cause. Good on you, Darby.
Hey, yeah, that's Darby's cause. Injuring children everywhere.
They're concrete now.
Yeah. So, about this time while I was watching it, I thought to myself, I have no idea what the main event of this match is. I'd been pretty offline for the last 5 days. And I knew the only match I knew that was happening tonight was Mercedes and Aminata. And I knew that there was a graphic that said Jon Moxley is the new champion, which I already knew. And so I had no idea at that point. I think I missed it earlier. They mentioned it earlier, but I missed it. So I was like, great. Well, I wonder what it's going to be. Then they announced that some upcoming dates. This weekend's Battle of the Belts. Did you know that?
Taping tomorrow in Stockton.
What's the main event of that show? They did not mention a single match.
No?
I don't even know if they mentioned Battle of the Belts or just showed it on the graphic.
They just showed it. They just said it's tomorrow night.
Yeah. But they didn't so it just shows you apparently Battle of the Belts is not in the TV deal. They're just
AEW, everybody.
Yep. Okay, Swerve's backstage with Nana and Renee. Renee's just hustling around that building. Swerve cuts a Swerve promo. I thought it was a pretty decent Swerve promo, but just kind of standard. Says anywhere, anyway with Shelton. Calls out San Jose is whose house, Swerve house. And then they announced, I think in the next segment that they booked Swerve versus Shelton, Dynamite, Fright Night. It's Abaddon season. Abaddon's gonna get her annual title shot.
I'm hot. I wish they'd use her a little bit more. I think she's doing a lot of work. She's got in shape. She's not bad. I like her. Or I want to use the right promo. She might not be a she. I apologize because I think she's non-binary. So I think it's they.
I think
that's
my
fault.
Right.
I apologize. So yeah, the Swerve promo suffers from the usual to me, where we're not sure. I mean, he wants to be both suave and also menacing at the same time, kind of a thing. And I don't and then go back to the catchphrase so that everybody in the crowd can shout it and stuff. I don't like this from him, to be honest with you, because I think the part I don't like is he's the baddest man in AEW. I saw Moxley take out Bryan Danielson.
Yeah.
I don't believe you right now.
Right. I'm the most dangerous man in AEW, except for the guy who's going around suffocating people with plastic bags.
Yes. He's trying to murder people.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to, now it's interesting that Swerve has not been in the mix when they, like, for instance, when they did that highlight package. He's in the Swerve verse right now. So he's kind of to the side of this Moxley thing. But hopefully they'll get together, because I'd like to see Moxley and Swerve. Okay, Tony's in the ring. He introduces Don Callis, who has finally abandoned his Last Supper graphic on the thing.
Still got the brown note, though, for the music.
Still got the brown note,
nice.
yeah. Callis comes out with Cage and Archer, and at first I thought, what did I miss? But it turned out that I didn't miss anything, and they just
no, you did not.
They were surprised because they knew that he had signed Archer from Jake Roberts, but that he had also now signed Brian Cage. Don Callis says he's got a little press conference set up, basically with a microphone, which at the podium. I kind of like that. And said that Cage and Archer are going for the tag titles. So the Callis family is now declaring war on the Elite.
I want a monster tag team. I'm here for this.
Oh, yeah.
I am here for this team. And you know what? If Lashley and Shelton want to go after the tag titles too, I'm here for that as well. I like big guy.
Yeah.
My man, for my show, I watched Steiners versus Doom this week.
Oh yeah.
I love me some like just gym school bullies.
Yep.
Jacked up dudes doing
Halloween
bad things
Havoc.
to each other.
Yep.
This was the Coastal Clash match.
Oh, okay. Where they lost the mask?
We're Doom.
Oh no, we're Doom beat him. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm glad Doom got a run. They were good.
Same. Love them. Still waiting for Hobbs to come out.
Well, I thought about that tonight.
Thought about it too.
So they announced Cage and Archer, a new tag team. It's kind of weird that he's kind of declaring.
It's gonna be Hobbs and Cage, isn't it?
I think so. I think Hobbs is coming back against them. I think Hobbs.
That's
is
what I think too. Yeah,
I
I think Hobbs, but Cage is the designated red shirt.
Oh
now
yeah,
of the Callis family.
Archer had that face. I know Archer just kind of has this face when he's not the main focus, but he looked like he wanted to be anywhere but there tonight.
Yeah, but at the same time, they're elevating him above Cage, I think, in this.
Yeah, I think so too.
Story, so
right. Even well, of course, because
no, he wants a main event. He wants a main event push.
Yeah,
but that ain't his gig now. So
right. So he's just gonna he's the guy. I'm just gonna show up and work and get my paycheck. Thank you very much.
I'm here for this. Give me that.
Yeah. So in
fact, Callis should hand him an envelope of cash every time he shows up.
Every time he does anything, just hand him an envelope.
Yes, here's your.
And then Archer should count it.
Yes,
just to make sure. Yes. And then stuff it.
More mercenaries in wrestling.
Yes. Then he introduces Kyle Bygod Fletcher and Takeshita, who comes out to good booze, I thought. So that's good. And that's when I had the thought, there's no more room for Hobbs in this stable. So when he comes back, he's got to be on the outs, which I like. I think that'll be good. Callis says that he says Callis will go to every corner of the globe to defend the title. Tell him, Take. Which I like that Road Warrior reference there.
I liked this promo by Takeshita, which started out in his native tongue and then went to broken English. I was
went to broken English. I will defend this title of the world. If you want this belt, come and take it. Kyle looks like an absolute D-bag in the outfit.
This hair is ridiculous.
It's fantastic. Like when he turned, it's great. It's great for a heel. When he turned around, it's literally like
he's going to be bald by the time he's like 30.
Oh, it is because he's, and I know this as a balding man who's still fighting it. Is you see you've embraced it.
I need to go to Turkey. I need to go to Turkey and get some hair plugs. That's
right. He's got like a point on the back of his head, and every hair comes outward toward that. It's like some like Dr. Seuss mushroom thing.
It's almost like he's trying to do a Dutch boy type thing with bangs and stuff, but it's just all frazzled because he's been frying it with bleach.
It's insane.
That said, this is the part where I kind of tuned out because it's like, we're having this press conference to tell you why we did stuff. Now I'm not going to tell you. Oh,
too bad.
I just saw this with the MJF thing. Great. You know,
and
that kind of thing.
Right. And Mariah May's championship celebration.
It's far more interesting for you to tell me than it is for you to not tell me. I get that it's cheap heat, but no, tell me you hate Will Ospreay. Tell me about that.
Yeah, because I was always going to be second best. I was always going to be the little brother.
Yes. Cut the promo.
I'm not the little brother anymore.
No, you guys don't deserve it. Yeah. All right, fine. Shut up and get out of the ring. I need to watch something interesting then. Jeez.
But he did get booed, so that's good. I like I said, I'm really high on Kyle Fletcher, so I'm glad he's ascending a bit.
You know, I always say I'd like to be in the room to do story points and stuff like that, but I just realized I'd be fired within a week for shitting on people's ideas.
Yeah.
Hawkins, you're so negative.
You just get one in,
logical and stuff. Yeah.
Right. Okay, so now we're back with Renee again with Mariah May, who has to bring up the fact that
hold on real quick. Should BCC attack one of these major heel stables? Like a Don Callis family to prove that they are the big dog in the yard?
I like them doing it.
Because to me, if they kept them apart and then eventually it would be like the Wyatts and the Shield type of a thing,
right?
Where it's like you know, kind of like J-Tex and the Horsemen too, where it's like the two big bad gangs decide, hey, this is our turf now. See,
right?
You build that correctly because that can't happen with the Elite. The Elite are too big of a flakes, but with the with some jacked up dudes like the Callis family versus the BCC who are looking for a fight. Give me that eventually.
Yeah, you're right. That's a good point.
War games. Come on.
War games. Yeah. Or blood and guts. Okay. Mariah is mad that they only had one question for her at the press conference, which was a real thing that happened, but it's like, let it go, girl. Britt Baker has strep. Thunder Rosa's in the UK, and AEW is where the best are afraid of the glamour. What?
Nobody watches the press conferences except us podcasting dorks.
I know. I was literally watching it while doing a podcast, so that's how bad I am.
Good promo from her, though. I like this.
I liked it.
I want her to be part of a stable, I think. Like I don't think she works on her own.
I think, yeah. I don't know where she would fit, though. If she was the
Flair, she'd be the Flair of the crew, whatever it is.
Like a women's stable or like a
either one. I mean, I think more women should be involved. I think the Callis family needs a woman in it. But I don't think she'd be it. I think she'd be good with MVP. To be honest with you.
Oh yeah, instead of Mercedes.
Yeah, I mean Mercedes would be good, but Mercedes would be the flake.
Or you could have them both, and he's got both champions.
Yeah.
And you could play the little tension where mostly they're apart, but when they're together, there's a little bit of.
I've been dying for a decent heel women's stable that it wasn't the Britt Baker show for a while.
Right.
Her, Deanna, maybe Rosa, and whoever, just something to give them something to do. Because Mariah's a natural leader, but it's one of those things where it's like all she is right now is the glamour. She's talking about the glamour, and it's really like. I mean, she almost got there this time with this promo where it's like, I'm on the top of the mountain in the AEW women's division, and there's nobody on my level that can beat me, and there's nobody because everybody's still waiting for Tony to come back or for Mina Mina to come back, and it's almost like we're in a holding pattern there, and we can't do anything with her in the meantime other than Willow Nightingale matches.
Right. And Saturday night, I was like, I want to see them because they're clearly like making Anna is slightly better a gimmick. And,
I like this. I like that she was in Japan and she got better.
And she got better and now she's back. But I
don't want to beat her either.
But I felt like, that's true. I would have liked a little more of a collision course than what happened tonight. Because tonight it was just like, it's just crazy Anna being crazy Anna.
Yeah, tonight it was just all women secretly hate each other, and she's coming in there. What, you were talking about me? I'm here, whatever. It's like no, open. Not even open challenge, but open contract.
What I would have liked is Anna to walk up and just say, "You're looking for some competition?
Yes,
here I am." And
Tough
then
Anna.
Mariah dismissing her and saying, girl, I've been to Stardom. You think a little summer trip to Stardom is going to get you on my level?
There you go.
You're not. Like,
no, that's perfect.
I was there killing it. So you know, don't, your little fantasy camp, you know, is not going to get to my level. And then Anna
I did a year in there. Okay.
Right.
Call me when you're on my level for that. And instead it was the Anna J fat ass and a bad attitude.
Right.
Redux. Right. And I just, your story. Oh, yours is great. 10-10. No notes. Love it.
Great. We'll move on. Little news tip.
On a high note. Come out.
Click.
Costanza.
Toni Storm is the top of the PWI women's list. Good for her.
How about that? Now
Renee is with Ricochet. Asks him if he was too laser focused on Ospreay in that match, which at least gives a little bit of a, I like a little sports explanation. Were you too focused on Ospreay, took your eye off Takeshita? Says, I'm not going to speak on that.
I don't remember getting hit.
Yeah. Yes.
To honor Bryan Danielson in his.
Yeah. In honor of Bryan, that's my Bryan tribute spot. Takeshita says Takeshita beat Will, not him. Declares he wants Takeshita. Where I'm from, you don't just call yourself the best in the world, was a line that he said.
Huh.
Which was interesting.
Yes.
But then he said, this part annoyed me. Your matches speak for you. It's about your matches. Not about your wins.
Yeah.
It's about your matches.
It's a steal the show promo.
Right. So he puts out an open challenge on Collision. It's okay. Ricochet's okay here.
Who do you think answers the open challenge? Commander?
Well, yeah, I was thinking like Leo maybe.
Leo would be a good one. And that's where he can turn heel.
Yeah.
Action Andretti, a member of Top Flight or Private Party. That's the Ricochet universe right there. Matt Sydal.
Basically Ricochet and his children.
Returning Matt Sydal. That's just the most rampagey rampage.
Oh yeah, that would be it. All right, so then we cut backstage to what we talked about earlier, which is the BCC either still fighting and or fighting again with Top Flight and Dark Order, which is like 5-on-6. I think.
Marina doing the Xenia on the top from Goldeneye.
Right.
Spot with the thighs.
Like it's the most convoluted.
Yes.
Like, how'd she get up there?
Action waiting for his cue so he can jump off.
I'm kind of intrigued by Marina in this mode. She's dialing in some kind of presence.
Her target gonna be?
That's a good point because they have two heel champs. If they were to ever turn, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to make it interesting, have her attack Camille.
They could do Britt. Yeah.
Britt. Yeah. Well, Britt's the obvious one, I think.
Yeah. They could
give her something to do or Thunder
Rosa. They could do Thunder Rosa for sure. Yeah. I think they're holding her off the ring for a long time, though. So anyway, they're fighting basically a brawl. Uno does the you want to take food off our plate promo.
Yes.
And we're day one, basically all the cliches in his thing. Lots of intensity, though. Crowd kind of cheers for it.
To mention, though, John Silver running after the truck.
The people loved that. That was the most exciting part, was John Silver running full blast. And there's no way John Silver's catching it.
I thought Top Flight and Action Andretti had a great promo though here. I do. They did. If the whole point of this is Moxley kicks your ass and then you start cutting good promos into the camera, right, like they did with Private Party,
he's just making the company better.
Would he like to take suggestions? Because there are some people who need an ass beating and to be and to get some emotion for a promo, as opposed to starting neutral and trying to build it up.
He's this is like the opposite of Bray Wyatt. Like he beats them down and then they get more over.
Yes, because they just look in the camera and say, "We want to kick your ass, and we want this match next week or Saturday or whatever." Perfect. Yes. 10-10. No notes. This is all I wanted out of you geeks who fly and stuff like that.
The one thing that was making me laugh was Dante getting front and center in that camera, and Action to his left. And then Darius keep trying to literally pull Dante to the side so he can get into the shot. And he kept pushing him out. And
I am angry.
All you see is Darius just trying to mean mug in the face. It was great.
That's gonna be the one we clip right there.
Yeah.
Just us going, "Rrr."
That's what we go. Top Flight versus BCC on Collision. I assume that's not Moxley. I assume it's Pac, Yuta, and Claudio.
Yes.
Which is fine. That'll be fun. I mean, anytime Claudio and Pac both beating on Top Flight guys is always entertaining.
Claudio's just gonna throw guys up and uppercut them.
Yeah,
it's gonna be the most over that dumb uppercut ever is.
And then Yuta's gonna do some like savage, crazy, lost his mind stuff, and then he's gonna like.
You know what he's gonna do? He's gonna do cattle mutilation. He's gonna do like Bryan,
he
like
should,
like
yes,
I'm
kicks the whole
actually
thing.
That would get him over as a heel. Just yes kicks and cattle mutilation. And then and the knee. Oh, do it.
Yeah, I have till 5. Do the whole thing. Then main event, Jay White. Oh, it's Jay White versus Christian Cage. I didn't know why this match was happening. Is Christian Cage supposedly the number 2 guy? Because he said there's 2 guys.
Yes,
okay.
I believe so.
But he said you won't know when it's coming.
Well, it was the main event now.
I guess, but it was like, I guess you won't know because they didn't announce the main event. I guess they did, and I just missed it.
I'm bored by Jay White, which shocks me.
He's not great as a babyface.
No, and I get a lot of people like that match on Saturday. I was just kind of like, yeah, it's there, man. And that was the same way with this. It was like, yeah, it's here, but there's no oomph on it a lot. And I agree with it. I think he's just a heel.
He just is a heel. He just has to be. And
or he needs to change his look and his offense or something, because like the dark hair and
the heel beard. Yeah.
The black pants with the switchblade is a heel name. You can't be
with the little silk kimono robe, and like it's like you don't like you're still that guy, man. I also missed the Bang Bang Gang music because I was really getting into that music that they had for a while. Juice and Colton with Jay. It's really it was really weird watching Jay work a babyface match where like Christian like powdered on him, like at the beginning of the match did the bail out of the ring. And it was weird seeing Jay. Like, I would have almost liked it better if, like, the bell rang and they both just backed out of the ring and dared the other one to enter first. Because that was more interesting. There were a couple of things where, like, Jay would, in the match, like, when he pulled his shirt over, like, hockey style during the match. And there were a couple of things where I was like, I can kind of get into, like, Jay's still the heel, but we like him better. But I don't know.
Well, the thing is, Jay's seriousness plays off of Juice's wackiness so well.
Yeah, right.
As a heel faction.
Yeah, right.
But being the serious guy with Juice, you kind of want him to match energy with Juice as a babyface.
Right.
I want wacky Jay White.
Yeah.
Give it to me.
Yeah. Okay, so here's my theory. I already told my theory, but I'll repeat it for the people who late tuned in. So there was this weird moment. Kip appears out of nowhere. Hangman appears out of nowhere, immediately disappears. Kip like literally sits down in like the front row, like ringside. The camera guys clearly, because like they show a close up of Hangman who's like doing bug eyes and acting like he's clearly trying to play it off, but they clearly messed up.
Yes.
And so now that derailed the entire match for the fans, because basically they're like, well, Hangman's here, Like I was surprised it didn't start chanting like he's under the ring or, like pointing him out. There's the Hangman or something. But what I noticed was, I said earlier it was Christian's fault. I don't think it's necessarily Christian's fault, but they made the mistake of having a cue that I think the cue was when Christian lines up for the spear, you jump up to distract me. I'll come get you. That leaves Jay in the middle of the ring to take the buckshot. But Christian set up a false spear where he was going to miss first. And he either didn't tell him or they just forgot and missed it. They didn't think it was the second one or whatever. And either Kip came out and then they just triggered the whole thing, and then they're like, oh crap.
I was still laughing at Nigel's line about beating up Nick Wayne in front of his mother and father.
Yeah.
I thought that was good. It screwed everything up. The commentary ended, Jay White's still on his rampage. So no, he just got beat, dumbass. Stop saying that, Excalibur. And let me just state this for the record. there is no money and no interest in Kip Sabian in this angle.
No.
I am sorry. It is dumb.
I don't know what has
Get
to do
to
with
the
anything.
point.
Yeah.
Are we doing a character change with him? Cool, because Penelope's back too.
Right.
Let's just figure something out with him. Put a box on his head again. I don't care.
Yeah.
I mean, he hasn't been interesting since Miro. They were trying to do this pathos angle with him, and it doesn't work because nobody cares if Christian gets heat on him. It's just one of those things where it's like, look, cut it off midstream and let's think of something else.
Yeah. Definitely. I don't even know where they're going with it. I assumed it was Kip and Nick Wayne, but
I assume he's joining this family eventually, or he's in cahoots with Hangman. One of the two.
Yeah, but if you do it, just do it, man.
I agree. I
don't know. Also, just to wrap it up, I talked about this in the Discord a little bit, and other people didn't quite agree, but it still bothers me. Hangman Page has arguably the feud of the year, like a contender for feud of the year. With Swerve Strickland, a year-long feud, blood feud, like old school, like Battle of Georgia type. Does the
burn down his house?
Burn down his house. One of the most talked about angles of the year. Crazy main event, doing crazy spots you normally don't see on American TV.
I know where you're going, but keep going.
Wins the feud and the match against the last world champion and arguably one of the hottest stars in the company. Next pay-per-view, opening match, loses clean. In a match that means nothing.
Yes.
Then the next television, the guy who beat him loses.
Yes.
Now he caused the loss, but it's like, boy, if this is an example of the winner of the feud loses in the booking, and the loser of the feud levels up to the more high profile feud.
They had no plan when they got to the end of this story.
Yeah. Like
that's the story of AEW, because that's why Chris Jericho continues to get elevated every time he loses a feud.
Right.
He's fighting for the Ring of Honor title. He hasn't won a feud.
Hangman should be the next title contender. Like not after Saturday, but like coming off of that, when you win a feud like that, your next step is level up. Yes. And he did not. He leveled down.
I agree.
All right, rant over. Thank you for agreeing with me, because other people were like, he's a heel, it's fine.
Yeah, AEW fans do not want the criticism of their storytelling. They just want to shut up and enjoy the matches. Okay, cool.
All right, real quick rundown of what they previewed. Rampage is going to be Private Party versus MXM. Collision will be Outrunners versus Roosh and Mordos. That'll be fun. Outrunners versus Roosh and Mordos.
MXM over-delivered in their match on the page.
They absolutely did. Yeah, they absolutely did. Kyle Fletcher versus Atlantis Jr. and Battle of the Belts apparently is happening, but they didn't mention it, so we don't know what's happening about that. But 3-hour Collision, basically. Then next week on Dynamite, Mark Briscoe versus Chris Jericho Ladder War, and Perry and the Bucks versus Garcia and Private Party. And then
I'll make a prediction for Battle of the Belts. No belts will change hands.
Will a champion enter the ring?
Yes.
That's my question. Okay. All right. You got any other thoughts?
Brian Cage will defend the TV title for Ring of Honor.
That's what it'll be. He'll defend the ROH TV title.
No, let's get out of here. We're a little bit over.
All right.
I'm going to do my plugs. At Crap Game 13 on Elon Musk's X, I do a show called Shake Them Ropes on the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network with Chris Novembrino. This week, ice cold thoughts on WrestleDream and this stuff we just talked about. Also anything from Raw and very interesting NXT, I thought, last night. Also on Vader Club, as I said before, from Capital Combat, Doom versus the Steiner Brothers.
Okay. I'm going to rewatch that before I listen.
And that will drop sometime later this week on either the Shake Them Ropes feed or the Voices of Wrestling mega feed.
All right. And I'm just here. I'll be filling in. I just pop in from time to time. I'm like Bryan Danielson.
Thinking about you, James. Miss you.
Yeah. All right. That's it for us. Good to talk to you. Have a good night.